Humanity is in peril. The tides of darkness have come again, and the whole world is poised upon the brink of war.
For the Lich King.
Your time has come.
Originally released in 2002, Warcraft 3 is one of the biggest names in the real-time strategy or RTS genre. It combined a rich fantasy story with all the resource gathering and strategy that defines RTS games. It's a beloved game and has been highly influential.
Yeah, Warcraft has a very passionate community and has inspired tons of custom-generated maps. In fact, my very own favorite game of all time, Dota, started out as a Warcraft 3 mod, and it had a huge hand in creating the entire MOBA genre.
So it's no surprise that developer Blizzard has decided to freshen up this successful title and release Warcraft 3 Reforged. But this wasn't to be just a remaster. Blizzard described it as a complete reimagining, rebuilding the game from the ground up.
Let's get on with it.
It's classic RTS gameplay. Your grunts collect lumber and gold, which is used to buy upgrades and build buildings and troops.
Okie dokie.
You then explore the map and do battle with your enemies. There's a few races to play with, each with slightly different ways of doing things, though at their core, the units are somewhat the same. The aim was to have the spirit of the original Warcraft, but just with a higher level of polish.
I only played a tiny bit of OG Warcraft 3, but I gotta say, Reforged still feels pretty old school to me. Because computers weren't as powerful back in the day, they had to work around it with clever game design. So the original Warcraft created a mechanic called upkeep.
Your army
How
has
can I
grown to
help?
such a large size that it now requires a portion of your income to sustain it.
It basically limits how many units you can create by reducing the rate of gold collection as your population grows, which slows down expansion. I understand upkeep is an important and iconic part of Warcraft's design, but it felt a bit painful to have such a limited unit cap.
All that's true, but I didn't actually mind it that much. Because you're only controlling a dozen units at a time, you end up needing to be rather tactical in how you use them to get the job done.
Job's done.
And I like that.
Oh, Will, I couldn't deal with this. I can't help it. I like amassing a ridiculous huge army so I can just bulldoze over everyone and everything.
Well, they don't call you Bulldoze Radley for nothing.
Do they?
I don't know. Where I really didn't like the old school design was in the visuals. It still felt like it was designed for a smaller screen. The user interface feels huge and overwhelming, and the camera view feels zoomed in and crowded. I feel like the game is preventing me from seeing the game. It doesn't quite feel like it lives up to the promise of a remaster.
And that's a complaint a lot of people had, especially when it comes to the cutscenes. Before release, some amazing cutscenes were shown off, and they looked good.
There's got to be some other way.
But these aren't in the game. Instead, the cutscenes in Reforged look much more like gameplay. They're zoomed out and simple, and it does end up looking dated.
I order you to purge this city.
It felt like a bait and switch.
Yeah, I do feel like getting closer on the characters would have helped me connect with them a bit more and packed more of a punch, but it's still a pretty great story. The main campaign has you play through the different races, which includes Orc, Human, Night Elf, and Undead.
It is I, Kel'Thuzad.
And weaves a tale of fallen heroes, unlikely friends, and a demonic invasion.
It was all just to prepare for some huge demonic invasion?
It's a long campaign with solid difficulty settings that let you play how you want.
It's a somewhat complex story, too. There's a lot of names to remember, and I definitely forgot some and got a little bit confused. But you do get the gist, and I still really enjoyed it. It added more weight to what I was doing and opened the door to cool different objectives, such as stealth missions.
I go unseen.
But the story sort of has to be the focus because the game makes it hard for you to have silly fun with your friends. You can't actually start a private lobby to play versus mode against mates, and you can't jump into a custom game with a team. You have to play online against other random players. This was ridiculous to me.
And other players can be really good. I didn't win a single match. Every game was over in a few minutes, and I can't say I had much fun.
Same, but I don't want to play with strangers anyway. You see, part of original Warcraft's magic was playing custom maps with your mates in a sort of local co-op. Your friend who knows the map would explain the rules to you as you played together, but you can't do that anymore. I didn't understand how to play any of these new custom maps, and they don't really explain it to you. I really feel like they ruined the best part of Warcraft, for me.
Online play also means that your anonymous opponents can chat with you, and whilst we didn't run into any issues with the community, it's important to be aware of.
Yeah, we recommend having a chat to your grown-ups about whether or not you're allowed to play games with online chat, and how to behave when doing so.
Good advice, Rad. Overall, there is a high barrier of entry for multiplayer, but I think the campaign is strong enough for you to have a good time.
This is more like it.
It's long, varied, and made by people who understand the RTS genre really well. I'm giving Warcraft 3 Reforged 3 out of 5 rubber chickens.
There is a solid foundation here, but I couldn't even get to all the bits that I love about an RTS, which is upgrading my buildings and troops, amassing a big army, and then having lots of little skirmishes until someone ultimately wins. The story campaign is good, but I personally don't play RTSs for story. I want that good multiplayer. I'm giving it 2 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Job done.